In the United States, the governor of California is to sue Donald Trump in an effort to overturn the president's decision to deploy soldiers for riot control in Los Angeles. There have been 3 days of protests and disturbances in the city over deportation raids carried out by immigration control and enforcement officers targeting the Latino community.
On a busy road in the heart of downtown LA, just to the rear of the courts and civic centre, a confrontation between police and protesters became violent. Police vehicles became trapped in an underpass, while a small mob hurled electric scooters, rental bikes and rocks. But it wasn't all like that. The day began with a normal protest against a roundup by ICE agents of illegal migrants at their places of work. Sunday was the third day of loud, angry and sometimes violent protests which led President Trump to seize control of California's Reserve Army and order their deployment to contain the disturbances. Only a small number have actually taken to the streets to protect the federal building in downtown LA. Protesters said using the army was unnecessary.
I think it's a scare tactic. People think if you scare them, they'll go home.
No, we're not being violent. We're just trying to be loud so that we can be heard.
Most of the people on the streets are there simply to protest against the deportation raids by immigration control and enforcement agents.
I think that the way they're handling things and the way they're doing it isn't the right way. Going to their jobs and yanking them from there, it's just very heartbreaking.
As the day wore on, and especially after dark, the incidents of violence increased, but none of it resembled a directed riot. Car burnings, rock throwings, and some dangerous driving. City and state police forces say they can handle the disturbances, though their use of plastic bullets is indiscriminate. But what has local politicians angry is the use of the military by the federal government, which they say is a provocation. Los Angeles is easing into a working week with the wreckage of 3 days of disturbances and a court case by the governor against the president to try and get the army stood down.
And Sean joins us now from Washington. Sean, what's the latest?
Well, the latest from Los Angeles is it's all pretty quiet. It's 10:15 on a Monday morning down there. There's a little bit of clean-up work going on, but no sign of any demonstrators or protesters. More importantly, the president, Donald Trump, has arrived back here in Washington in the past half an hour, made some comments to reporters on his way into the building. They were asked him about the people who'd been causing these disturbances, whether he thought they were genuine protesters or paid agitators. He said they were paid agitators, and then he called them insurrectionists, and that is a word that has set this town aflame, buzz, because insurrectionist implies that the president will have the legal power to use the 1807 Insurrection Act to deploy soldiers for use against them. There's been a lot of question marks about this use of the army being deployed by the federal government on the streets of a city, any city in the United States. It's a very sensitive topic. The president seems to be doubling down on his intention to use them. It was something he wanted to do during his first term in office. He was talked out of it a number of times, but now he seems to have gotten his way. And in California, a state that he reserves a particular ire for, and its governor, Gavin Newsom, who is often mentioned as a potential Democrat presidential candidate. He seems to be going to war with President Trump over this one. President Trump saying that he agrees with his Homeland Security or his border control czar, Tom Homan, who said over the weekend that people like the governor and the mayor of Los Angeles ought to be arrested if they get in the way of this deployment of troops. The governor said last night, "Go ahead, Tom, come and arrest me." Trump saying in the past few minutes, "Gavin had loved the publicity. I think it would be a good idea. I ought to arrest him." It's getting worse.
OK, Sean Whelan in Washington, thank you for that.